Okay, welcome to the next video. I've lost count of how many videos, how many sessions we've done for it, but don't worry, it doesn't matter. It's going to be, this is the session where I'm going to show you how you're going to link these buttons to these forms. Remember, we have 1, 2, 3 forms that we've designed. This is where the user is going to add the questions. So he's going to type the question, type his options. Oh my word, I just realized we have not added, so let's just quickly add that. Remember, this is where the user adds the options, but in the way we design the program, remember it needs to have the answer. We didn't select where, we didn't create where the user is going to add the answer, so let's just do that quickly. So sorry about that. We're going to we're just going to add a label, and so this is change the text property to answer, and we're going to add I think for the answer, to select the answer, it would be good to use a combo box. So we're going to use a combo box, and I'll show you, I'll try and explain what this does later, how it's different from a text box. So in the item collections, remember if you select the combo box, that's after adding it, remember you go to toolbox and look for combo box. Here it is. You drag and drop it. So after adding it, you come to items property, sorry. So if you click on the items property, you'll see a little 3 dots in front of where it says collection. So just click on those 3 dots, and in here you'd see it says enter the strings in the collection, 1 per line. So you're going to type capital A as the first item, press enter, capital B, enter, capital C, enter, and capital D. Okay, and that's it. Okay, so at the moment all the forms are complete. Remember to save this, Control S to save that. So this is where the user is going to type in his questions, type in his options, type in, document the, select which one is the answer. That's why we're using a combo box. So he's going to click on this drop down menu and it shows him A, B, C, or D. So he selects A, B, C, or D. All right, so he doesn't have to type in the answer as exactly as he wrote it here. He just selects the option, either A, B, C, or D, which one is the answer, and click on add. And then once he does that, it's going to add the question in here. Oops, sorry. It's going to add the question in the list of questions. Okay, that's the whole idea. Okay, let's go ahead and link. Remember, this is what we were supposed to do in this session. We're supposed to link the add more questions and the play quiz button to their respective forms. Now, to do that, we're going to do something a little different that we haven't done before. I'm sure we haven't looked at this program.cs code. All right, now if you come to your Solution Explorer, just expand your project. If you go down, way down, the final item, you're going to see program.cs. That is where your main method of your program is. Okay, and we're going to tamper with that. Okay, I know sometimes people tell you don't tamper with your main method. All right, we are going to tamper with it because we know what we're doing. Okay, so let's double click on program.cs. Now we're going to need 2 variables that are going to hold our form 1, that are going to hold our play quiz form and our add questions form. Remember, form 1 is our main menu. That's the class for the main menu. This is going to be the class for the play quiz form and the class for the add questions form. Okay, so we need an object of play quiz form and another object of add questions form. So since we're going to need those objects, we need where we're going to store those objects. So let's immediately after this, the main entry point for the application where it says / angle bracket / summary, just press enter, create a space where you're going to type. All right, now we're going to add let's make it a public. We're going to add 2 we're going to add two public variables. So public, remember, for the play quiz form, the data type is play quiz form. Okay, so you're going to type public play quiz form, and we're going to call it PQF, just short for play quiz form. All right, abbreviations. So is equal to new play quiz form. Okay, so this creates the object and stores it inside PQF. We're going to do the same for the other object, which is the add questions form. The data type is add questions form, and we're going to call it AQF is equal to new add questions form. Okay, now the reason why we're making it public is because we're going to need to be calling them from our form 1 class. Okay, so that's why I'm making them public. Otherwise we would have just made them private, and I think it might be a good idea to make them static. All right, so we're going to make them static. For I know for beginners they might, what's the meaning of static? Okay, if I'm going to try and explain this, it means I have to try and explain objects, dynamic fields of objects, and then try and explain the static and non-static fields of objects. Let's not just go into that for now. Just take it from me, you probably want them static. Okay, so let's use let's make them static. It's going to be much easier for us to call them when they're static. Okay, that's it, I think, for tampering with the program class. Oh yeah, I remember we need one more variable where we're going to hold our questions. We can't yet create that variable because we haven't created the question class. So let's leave that for now. We're going to create the question class later. Let's just go ahead and link those forms. So let's go into our form 1. This is where our main menu is. Okay, now I'll show you how you're going to display the code. Remember, you right click and you click on view code. Okay, good. Now in your code, remember, this is the code where what happens in your form 1 view. Okay, okay, let's link this button. So select this from 1.cs. Remember, this is the design view, this is the code view, or whatever you want to call it. We want to write the code here. However, I remembered the easiest way to create an event handler for a button is just go to the form 1 design view and double click on the button you want to create the event handler for. So let's double click on add more questions. Okay, now you see it has created an event handler for button 1 click. We forgot to change the name to add more questions click, but it doesn't matter. So we have created an event handler for button 1 click. Button 1, remember, represents the add more questions button. So what we want to do is we want to call program dot. Now you notice why we made this static and it's also public. We can immediately call on AQF or PQF. Now remember, button 1 is our I think add questions button, so we want AQF, not PQF. So AQF, but program.aqf dot show, we want to show program.aqf. Okay, also, now this means it's just going to show that also before, in fact, before we show the add questions form, we want to hide this form. Okay, this dot hide. Beautiful. So by doing this, we hide our form 1 and then we show our program.aqf. Okay, Okay, okay. Sorry about that. I just ran out of time. Okay, let's just go ahead and I just realized we probably need uh, to hold this main menu also in the program, okay, in the program class. The reason is because when we hide the form 1 or the main menu, we would want to bring it back when the user clicks on back to main menu, okay? So for that reason, we're going to have to hold it also here. So let's go back to program.cs and add one more line, public static, and call that add, sorry, main menu, main menu, main menu form, main menu, and we're going to call it, sorry, not main menu. I think it's called form1. Form1 is the data type, and we're going to call it main menu. Okay. However, I think, let's see. Okay, is equal to new. What am I typing? New form1. Now, the reason why I'm humming is because I just noticed now we have two different objects of main menu, but it doesn't really matter. It's still going to work, just that this is not probably the best way, best design view for a program. We're supposed to have only one main menu object. However, here we have one main menu object and the program is creating another one here, but it doesn't matter. All we need to know is that by the time this one is going to be called, this one is most likely destroyed, okay? Even if it's not destroyed, we have no use for it, so let's just do it this way to keep things simple, okay? So that's it. We've created the main menu object. So let's go to we've linked add more questions. Now we want to link play quiz, okay? So let's double click on play quiz, and then we're going to say this dot hide inside the button to click event handler. Open the bracket, close the bracket, and program dot, now it's pqf we want, dot show, okay, and control S to save. And now if we run our program, okay, so we have a problem. What's it saying? Unhandled exception of time system dot invalid operation exception occurred. Okay, I'm not sure what that error is, but I'm suspecting it's probably because I'm creating objects here which I'm not supposed to. So let's remove these creation of the objects. Let's take it away from here. So we'll just declare the variables and then create the objects later. So let's put semicolons there, and then we're going to say we're going to create our objects probably here. Let's create them here. I think this should be okay. So pqf dot pqf is equal to new play quiz form, and aqf is equal to new add questions form, and main menu is equal to new form1, and let's see if that takes care of the problem. It doesn't. Okay, I'm not sure. Did I tamper with anything apart from that? compatible text rendering default. Okay, I'm going to pause this and just try and fish out what the problem is. Okay, okay, so I wasn't sure what exactly is the cause of the problem, but I was able to find out how to avoid the problem entirely. I think it all finally boiled down to do not touch your program class. Anyway, we're not going to tamper with the program class. Let's just remove those. We are going to tamper with the program class, but not for using the forms in it. Okay. We'll find later on we'll have to use the program class to probably store um, our questions, but for now just remove all that code that we added in the program class instead of putting them in the program class, and we're going to restructure the way the program is going to work. Remember, after removing those, save it. So this is what you should have in your program class, and instead let's put it in our form1, that's the main menu class. So by removing that, remember we added this program.aqf.show. We're still going to leave it because we're going to add okay, sorry, we're going to remove this program.aqf.show. We're going to remove this because aqf and pqf are not going to be in our program class anymore. Instead, we're going to have let's see, so this is the structure we're going to give it. In every form, we should have a handle to the main menu. A handle is just like should we say a variable that holds the main menu object so that we can be able to call on the main menu when we want to display it. So in our play quiz form, open the design view, right click and choose view code. If you do that, inside your public partial class play quiz form extends form, just write this. You're going to add sorry, not, it's not going to be private, it's going to be a public. Let's make it static. It's going to be sorry, form1, that's the data type, and we're going to call it main menu. Okay, we're going to do the same for, so just copy that, Control C, and we're going to do the same for the other form, which is add questions form. So we're going to right click and choose view code. We're going to go in there and just Control V. So both of them have handles to the main menu form. Okay, so we're going to be using this main menu when we want to call, that is when we want to show the main menu window back. Remember, when we open the play quiz form, it's going to be displaying this, and we're going to hide the main menu. So when we want to go back to the main menu, that's why we're going to need these handles. The where is it? Okay, here it is, the main menu inside add questions form and the main menu inside the play quiz form. I hope that makes sense. So let's go ahead and save our files, and yes, finally in here, when we call private button one click, we're going to need to first of all create the okay, button one is for add questions form, so we need to add questions. We need to create so we're going to call it add questions form. We're going to call it AQF, sorry, not capital, small letters. AQF is equal to new add questions form. Okay, this creates the add questions form object, and then before we show it, we need to set the main menu. AQF dot main menu. Okay, I think I forgot, I made it private in the sorry about that. It's supposed to be public, public static. Yeah, I did make it public, so why are we not seeing it? public static main menu. Yes, it is public. So we should be able to say, oh, sorry, sorry about that. It's because it's a static variable, so I'm not supposed to look into AQF. I'm supposed to set it from I'm supposed to set it from the form class. So in fact, we don't need to set it here. We should set it at the beginning. Okay, after initialize component, we can just do our add questions form dot main menu is equal to this. Okay, because this refers to the class we're inside, or the object we're inside. At the moment, we're inside the main menu object, so we pass this, which represents itself. All right. I know it might not make sense right now, but believe me, later on you're going to have this point in your programming when you're just going to understand this. I call it the okay period. Okay, you're just going to go, okay, I understand it. Okay, so for now, even if it doesn't really make sense, just take it for now. Okay, just use it in your code. Okay, we're going to do the same for the play quiz form. So play quiz form dot main menu is equal to this, and then here, so when the user clicks on the add questions form, it's going to create the add questions form, and then it's going to show the add questions form, aqf dot show. Okay, remember dot show is capital letter S, so put your semicolon. Now the same thing for when you click on the play quiz button form. You're first going to hide the main menu, and then you're going to create add questions form. You're going to create the play quiz form, pqf is equal to new play quiz form. Okay, and then you're going to show the play quiz form, pqf dot show. Beautiful. All right. Okay, why am I having, oh, sorry, I wrote add questions form here. Okay, play quiz form. Okay, and I believe that's it for the linking. Now when we run our program, click on play, you can see you have your main menu. If you click on add more questions, you can see it shows the add questions form and hides the main menu form. So the main menu has disappeared, and you have your add questions, and the user can add his questions. But at the moment, we haven't linked this back to main menu yet, so we can't go back for now. We're going to link it in just a moment. If you play that again, let's stop the application and play it again, and if you click on play quiz form, you notice it brings you to the play quiz form. I just remembered we also need another return to main menu here so that we can go back to our main menu. So that's it for linking the play quiz form and the add questions form. Now remember, we have to link them back to the main menu. So let's go to our design view of play quiz form. Let's quickly add, remember to stop your application. Let's drag in a button for the return to main menu. Okay, we're going to put it here, and the text, oh, I just realized this is not the same length. Okay, yes, on the text property we put back to main menu, back to main menu, press enter, and then now you link this button so that it takes you back to the main menu. So you double click on the back to main menu, and when you double click on that, this is the event handler for back to main menu button. Don't worry so much that it's still showing you button 1 click, doesn't matter. For each form it has its own button 1, button 2. Okay, the names don't really matter for now. I know they're important, but if you take a look at the program as a whole, each button, each form has its own button one, button two. So right now we're in play quiz form. So this button, yes, I was saying this button one is for the play quiz form. Okay, so now we want to go back to the main menu. All we need to do is say main menu. Now this is the whole reason why we added this static variable. Okay, is so that we can go back to the main menu when we want. Otherwise, if we didn't have this static uh, variable here of the main menu object, there's no way for us to call it. Okay, that's the whole idea of adding this public static form1 main menu. So we're going to say main menu dot show. Remember, show is capital. I keep writing small letter, so show is small letter. Also remember, before we show, we need to hide the this particular um, uh, this particular form, which is the play quiz form. So now you're still going to use the this keyword. This here refers, remember the other time we used this, we're referring to the main menu. However, in this instance, because we are inside the play quiz form, this refers to the object of the play quiz form. That's why I keep saying that this keyword is a very weird keyword. For a beginner, it's going to give you a hell of a hard time to grasp. But the moment you grasp it, the moment you get that okay period and you understand it, um, I think you're going to feel like the best programmer in the whole world. Okay, so for now, this is going to refer to the play quiz form. Okay, so we're going to put this dot hide, because we want to hide this the play quiz form. Okay, so let's save that, and let's go back to remember, we're also going to link the add questions form. So let's open the add questions form design. Okay, it's nowhere to be found here. We can go to oh, here it is. We're going to double click on back to main menu, and this is the event handler. Notice this one is button 3 here, but we don't really care about the name of the button for now. We just want to handle what happens when the user clicks on it. So what we want to do is call main menu dot show. But yes, before we show the main menu, we want to hide the add questions form, and again we're going to use this. Okay, all right, we're going to use this. In this instance, this refers to the add questions form object. Okay, so this dot hide. All right, um, we're going to test this just to make sure everything is working fine. We click on play, so this is our main menu. If we click on add more questions, it opens this, and if we click on back to main menu, you can see that is working perfectly fine. Now for the play quiz button, let's test that. It opens the play quiz form, and if you click on back to main menu, it takes you back to the main menu. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Okay, I think I'll stop here for this session. I think it was quite long, spanned almost 3 or 2 different videos. So yes, I'll see you in the next session of this tutorial.